works for me. Yeah.
Let's jump right in here. Which one would you like to start with here?
Out of the first three, what looks most interesting to you? Just curious.
So this is it's all about me. All right, let's see here. Kiri, Lijiang, confusing dive mirror. Let's do that. That looks nice,
Okay.
especially if you've already reviewed it. Confusing. I love that adjective. We can streamline that concept. Let's take a look. How,
So I know I mentioned solo queuing a lot, but I am now duo queuing a little bit, and this
sure,
happened to be a game with my duo.
it's fine.
He is sneaky freaky. That's not his main. It's an alt. Um, I think we're gonna go into the ball mirror here.
Okay.
And
Okay.
as we go through the replay, I'll bring up some questions that I had
Okay.
when my duo and I reviewed it. Because right after
Okay.
this game happened, I was like, this was messy from me. And I had a lot of
Sure.
questions. And I think we had a
Sure.
good discussion. So
Sure.
yeah, let's jump right into it.
Okay. So how's your practice been recently?
Honestly, not as good as I'd like it to be. I just started a job. Well, not just.
Yeah.
Since last session, I've started a job and
Yep.
we're super understaffed and stuff. So they're scheduling me for 40 hours a week ish,
Yep.
which
Sure.
I'd prefer. I told them I wanted 25. So naturally, I'm just, you know, a little less
Yeah.
free time than I'd like.
Yeah. It
But
happens. It happens. Okay. Sounds
um,
good. Sounds
yeah.
good.
But when I am practicing, I have actually found that when I solo queue, I am starting to win games. I know last time I mentioned that I felt kind of stuck, and I think something clicked. We can talk about that when it comes up.
Okay.
Also, when I'm with my duo, he's high ranked and I mean, smurfing, I'll just say it. So obviously rank goes up, but
Yeah.
um, I do try, like, I am also trying to learn. Also, like, his alt brings our elo into the like low diamond range, so I'm also finding myself playing in slightly more difficult games.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Okay.
that's that.
All right. Let's take a look.
I'll find my own path.
Always starts with positioning, whether it's with dive or brawl or Ana or Kiriko or anything. So first things first. Where's your angle?
I see my tank go down the right side, so
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I call this the angle, the left side, even
Sure.
though, you know,
That's fine.
I
Yeah,
think
that's all right.
a lot of tanks might go down this way, so I just take the angle.
Yep, this seems good to me. Okay, so then where could you migrate to from here?
I would either go left if I wanted to get really, if I really wanted to limit test, I would go right, and yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for the heal.
I think I'm still like figuring out what I want to do, or just spamming down main. And I'm gonna move right here. Okay, I'm getting. Oh, I'm getting creative. Okay. This is the most horrendous 1v1 I think I've ever lost. This is.
But you realize that that's an advantage that you should be able to leverage, right?
Well,
What went wrong
I mean,
with you
the Ana's
specifically?
closer to spawn though. What?
So,
Sorry, what was that?
what went wrong with you here mechanically? Because you're supposed to win this 1v1.
I think. Is the right move to Suzu the nade?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think micro here. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
And then I just get slept. So Ana just.
Why did you get slept?
I was too close.
Yep, too close and you need cover. Right? You can bait the animation of the sleep dart on the corner. Your pressure versus Ana in the 1v1 is much more consistent. And to be honest with you, that's kind of that's kind of like the theme of Kiriko in 1v1s. Slow and consistent. Eventually you're going to hit your shots, right? You don't have a burst of value that you have to land like an Ana, or you don't have to get a deflect like a Genji. You just need to hit your shots. And that means you could just kind of corner spam from a corner. That's it. That and here is, you had a chance here. You just couldn't quite decide if you wanted to commit to the 1v1 or disengage, and so you didn't either. That's fine. But, to be frank, the angle was fine. The Suzu was fine. Win it next time. GG go next. Right? It happens. Don't sweat it.
That was forsaken. Sorry.
Okay, you were late because you died. You lose the fight. Go next. What do you think?
I think I'm setting up right now for where I think the next team fight will be. We got
Where
an
should your attention
early.
be? So your
Where's my
angle's
attention
good.
be?
Your angle's good, right? So then where should your attention be on this angle?
Definitely shooting. Although I only see the Kiri right now. What I
That's no
might do
excuse,
is
right?
look.
So where is
Yeah.
people? Where is people? You know?
Where is people? Just
Where
I
is
should go
people?
deeper. I should just go
Here
deeper.
or here?
People
Okay. Here.
is-
Oh, here. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So the key thing is when
I'm
you do
looking
take
for
an
it.
angle, your number one priority is is there anybody with me, and then who can I shoot from here? So here you're deepening, but this is a problem. Why? This is unnecessary.
No
Why?
one's with me. No one's with me.
That's not the
and
problem. That's not a problem.
Also,
You can take a 1v1 or you can
no
run away.
one- No one is on where I'm going to end up.
Yeah. So if you just looked here, you go, oh, ball, or oh, Genji, or oh. There's just things on the angle that you didn't know were there. And so you're wrapping around behind when where you just started on the angle was good enough. Does that make sense?
So wait for them to come to me.
Well, if there's
Because,
not necessarily, there were people already here. Ball was right there. Even the Kiriko was right there. You didn't see her until it was too late. You get what I'm saying? Just shoot what's there.
yeah.
Just shoot what's there. That's all. And then deepen if there's nobody else there.
See, yeah, like me deepening here is unfortunate because my brig dies.
Well, it's unfortunate not because your brig dies, but because you did nothing for 10
Oh,
seconds.
true. Yeah. Well, I wasn't.
You know,
yeah.
you kind of get what I'm saying. Like you're talking about like the symptom versus the disease. The symptom of doing nothing for 10 seconds is going to get people killed. Yeah. So
It's called personal.
cool. Go next. Good Suzu. There's the panic.
Is also a go next.
Yeah, it's a go next. It's a bit of a panic. When you're threatened by something, shoot the something. Don't just panic and start spamming. So when Genji pops Blade, life hack. Shoot the Genji. I mean, look at this son of a gun. He's 140 HP.
Oh, he's also got that life steal. Okay.
Yeah, but that's one headshot. There were multiple times where he was one headshot away from death. Don't close your eyes and pray. Shoot him in the face. Right? Like, this is kind of what we're seeing so far is your angles have definitely leveled up. But I want to see you behave differently on those angles. I want to see, oh, I'm being contested. Okay, shoot them. Shoot them. Like what you did with the Ana there. But not just the supports, to the, you know, to the tanks and the DPS, you know? And then when you're on that angle, just where are they? Shoot them. So far, your angles have looked pretty good, though. We can Kitsune this if you'd like. Like right here, just use it. Just use it. So what you could do with
Okay.
Kitsune is you can pop Kitsune on main for your team and then take an angle yourself. Because I know you're like, well, I don't want to be here. I want to kind of be angling. Sure. Throw your best resource for your team and peace out. Right?
Okay.
Just go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go. Yeah, let's keep going. Sure. Sure. Look at that. We shot him. He died. Beautiful. You even stayed calm. I could tell by the way you're moving your crosshair.
Interesting that you can see that.
Nobody left, huh?
Well, let's put it this way. I could tell that you were calm because you were moving your crosshair. When you got the Genji blade, you kept your crosshair still at just a big clump of enemies and just kind of spammed. This situation
see.
here, watch how you track him. You're actually reading his movement and weaving and healing in between. Like, that takes focus to do. You cannot be focused when you're panicked. Can tell the difference. It's not as simple as just don't be panicked, forehead. It's even when you are panicked, I want you to focus on trying to hit your shots on the target. If you miss, that's okay. But we're training your ability to stay calm under pressure, which is one of the most important skills a support player can have. One of the most important players is staying
Calm under pressure.
Calm under pressure,
Okay.
but you have to practice that. You have to practice that specifically. You have to go, oh no, I'm taking risks on these angles, and I'm going to be under pressure. But you know what? The more pressure that I absorb and the more pressure that I take and alleviate, the less pressure my team's under, right?
Restoring balance.
Is that
fine.
every role's mentality? Because
It is.
you know, if
It
you-
is. But support players oftentimes are more of a target priority, so they're oftentimes a little bit more under direct pressure. Support players also have to multitask more than other roles. In other words, you have healing and damage responsibilities. And to be frank, a lot of support players just intuitively avoid pressure. They just avoid it because they're scared. They value their lives too much, and so they just avoid pressure entirely. And so you have to kind of break the stereotype, if that makes sense. It's not that it's less important. It's just that a lot of support players just avoid pressure, and so build really bad habits. You don't see most Kirikos doing what you're doing. That's why most support players are generally lower ranked, and why DPS and tank players, when they pick up support, are almost exclusively always higher ranked in support than they are in other roles, because they have that built-in proactivity and that built-in capability of handling pressure. Now this is cheeky, right? This is cheeky. But you know what it is? As long as you can get out safely, that was a waste of cooldowns for him. That's probably a little bit more of an investment for him than it is for you. Now, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to contest a ball in the open all the time, but to be honest with you, I can't hate it.
I just happened to be going on that angle, and he happened to
Right.
press me there. So
And you want to see something funny? He's like, crud, well, that sucks. Wait, my slam.
oh wait, I didn't even see that.
Yep. So there you go. Now you didn't intend that, but lucky things happen to those that actually take space appropriately, right? Unlucky things happen too, but your future is more in your hands when you actually do things. So that's it. I like this angle a lot. Why? What's good about this angle? Make it simple.
Pushing up. We're basically already in their spawn. I think pushing up any further would be a mistake here because it's their space, and I would get very easily punished.
Correct.
So too risky. So eventually, when the team fight starts, when my tank duo has to back up a little because we're all up in their spawn, they're going to enter here. Additionally, I can also rush backwards toward my team. I forgot if I end up doing that, but there's an opportunity for that.
You just have a nice safe angle. You don't always have to like hard flank as Kiriko. You're just off to the side. Got a distance to poke, to rush, as you said, to heal. This is good. I also like that you're looking here. Why is this really important that you're looking here, even if you're not going to flank?
I can keep an eye out on their three dive characters.
Remember, we said when you take angles, your number one priority is who else is on that angle. Remember that? Number one priority. So if you get pressured by Tracer here or Genji, you stop worrying about your tank and you start worrying about what's here instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This is really good. Just a quick check, then back to here. Back to here, this is fine. Good? Yeah. You don't really need to leave this here.
Yeah, I was like thinking about helping my Tracer out, then I was like, that might be too deep.
Yep, I agree. This is fine. Only problem here is your Suzu here. I know it's weird to say that, but the Suzu's bad. Why?
It's, I want to say it's unnecessary.
Correct.
Yes, our queen is antied, but she's behind cover.
Correct. So you ready for this?
And
Do not
high
Suzu
HP.
people who are nated. Do not Suzu people who are dynamited. I mean, I'm not saying don't, but that's not the most important thing. What's the most important thing to Suzu?
It's invulnerability and healing, so you can save someone.
Sure, you're describing what the thing does, though. What situation finds you needing to use Suzu? It's not nated. It's not dynamite. It's danger. Okay, I'm being kind of campy here. You get what I'm saying? Who is in danger right now? Is it your Junker Queen? No. It's you.
It's me.
It's you. You're in danger. You're not currently dealing with a status effect. But that's not only what Suzu does. Suzu, as you said, does a lot of other things. And the most important thing is to Suzu people who are in danger, right? I could have a target that's 1 HP nated behind a wall. and I probably wouldn't Suzu him, depending on the situation. Maybe they could come from an off angle and kill, I don't know. But like my point being is that you should prioritize threat first, not whether they have a status effect or not. And so this is why you get cleared, because you get dove on your angle, which is not bad. But the problem is that you're so fixated on Suzuing your tank that you're not Suzuing yourself. And where's your disengaged route with your teleport here? The safest route.
The safest one is either my Hanzo or Brig.
Correct, not the Junker Queen. Why do you fail this? Because you're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your full HP, 2/3 HP tank behind a wall. That's why you screw it up. When you start taking space and start taking angles, your self-preservation becomes the #1 priority, not because you're a selfish, little turd. It's because your very existence of being here is already helping your tank. So you have to preserve that pressure by keeping yourself alive first. Does that make sense? I mean, look, you can see it. I mean, look at where their attention is right now. It's not on your nated tank. It's on you. So if you keep thinking about your tank when you take an angle, you're going to die. But if you go, I'm going to teleport out, or Suzu myself, shoot, teleport out, whatever, then I can take care of my tank. Then your tank's going to be like, oh, wow, that was really nice. So they committed a bunch of cooldowns to my Kiriko. She just disengaged. And now I have a Kiriko pocket back here with a Kitsune Rush. And we're going to pop off. You get it? So when you take space, the very act of taking an angle is helping your tank. So that allows you and prioritizes your focus on keeping yourself alive. Doesn't mean you only Suzu yourself. Doesn't mean that you always have to swift step out. It doesn't mean you never heal, of course. But if you're under pressure, like when we said here, you need to be looking at this flank. This is your #1 priority. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Now, you might live here, barely, yeah. And look at the kill feed. That's you. You did that. Why did you do that? Why is your Junker Queen getting a 3K? Why? Where was the pressure on her?
There was no pressure.
There was
on
no
her.
pressure. There was no
like
pressure.
Genji committed, like Genji, Tracer, Ana might have committed. I mean, even if they didn't necessarily commit cooldowns, what they give up is I waste their time because they have to put their attention on me and not my tank.
Yep.
They have to give up a good position maybe to chase me. Like the Tracer would very much not like to be dealing with me, but maybe taking a flank on our team. So she has to give that up.
Blinks, the dash, everything. Even just attention for a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And now your Junker Queen gets a 3K. Maybe even a 4K. Now she kind of overextends here. Good Suzu. You Suzu threat there, so that's good. Good job. So even though the way that you're behaving when you're taking angles is not great, your taking angles is still providing value. You don't need to do the right thing perfectly for you to get value. You don't need to be strong mechanically. You don't need to play it perfectly with your cooldowns. You don't even necessarily need to... You just taking space alone gives you free value. Good job.
So what can be improved about what I do on the angles? Is that like, am I not healing damage weaving correctly? Am I not using cooldowns correctly?
Let's look at that last fight in your head. Picture it. What was the #1 thing that was wrong with the last fight that we've seen a couple other times in this? When you took the angle, what is your #1 priority?
Other people and not myself, my own life.
Right. So what needs to change then?
When I'm taking a risk like that,
yes,
I need to take care of myself
first. And then you can take care of your teammates. What that means when you take care of yourself, that means that you need to look at and deal with your threats first. If there are no threats, then you can shoot. Then you can heal. Then you can weave. If there are threats on you, well, you're probably going to be shooting and Suzuing. And that's about it. And that's okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That way you can pull resources to yourself without dying. Okay.
So if there isn't a threat on an angle, then I can get value by poking, maybe getting a kill.
Yep.
And
or healing or weaving or whatever else.
Or healing or weaving.
Yeah.
If there is a threat on an angle, then the value that I get is their attention, maybe them giving up their positioning, maybe them
forcing
committing
cooldowns.
Cooldowns. attention,
Yeah.
wasting their time.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So either way, being on that angle is
Yes.
providing value.
Yes, correct. And
Okay.
sometimes you'll look at situations where there's somebody on your angle and they're not currently threatening. Like, let's say that Genji just uses his dash to get to the angle, and he's used his deflect, and you hit him in the head and he ducks behind a wall. You can heal your team because he's not going to be bothering you for a little bit, right? So when somebody's on you, it doesn't mean that they're always a threat. But as long as something is a threat on you, they need your attention. We'll keep applying this principle. We'll see a lot more examples of it in this section here. So we start off on an angle.
So
Sure,
okay,
I like this.
So
this is good.
is the part. This is
This
the
is
part where it got really confusing for me because this ball dive mirror with a Tracer and a Genji on the enemy team was, I feel, too fast paced for me, and I
Yes.
was very
Yes.
confused.
Yes. We talked about it earlier, right?
made a
What's the
lot of
most important
mistakes.
thing? Like being able to stay calm under pressure. So how do you get better at staying calm under pressure? You put yourself under pressure.
Okay.
So the
I
good
was just
news,
like, I feel like I didn't have any answers about where I should be. I was just like, let me try applying these principles, but I was really unsure.
absolutely. So your
And I
job is
lost
to.
a lot of 1v1s, yeah.
That's okay. To take. Well, see, that's exactly it. Probably because you're trying to do too many things. You take the angle here. Your number one priority is there anybody else here? And then fighting them. If not, okay, then do whatever I want. So from here, just shoot. We're good. But do you see how you're falling back towards your team? This is the mistake. You've lost space. You notice that? You had an angle and you lost an angle. Now, why did you do so? Because you're like, oh no, the ball is going to kill my backline. No, he won't. No, he won't. You know what will kill your backline? Ball and a Genji. Ball and a Genji and a Tracer. But where are the Genji and Tracer going to come from? You ready for this? From the exact same position that you just vacated. What should you have been doing instead of running into the open towards your team here? What could you have been doing right now? From this position, even.
From this position, probably just shoot whoever I see.
And who does that
If I'm
happen to
peeking
be?
around,
Right?
that's
It's
Genji.
the Genji. You should be shooting the Genji. If you shoot Genji, Genji is focusing on you and not dealing with your backline. And so you're able to keep the angle and protect your backline at the same time. But as soon as you leave, not only do you risk getting shot here, but now this becomes a two-man dive that you have given up. Do you see that?
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused about where the angles are because the balls, like in a dive, I don't understand where main is, and so I don't.
You don't need to
where the
understand
angle
where
is.
main is. All you need to go is, am I stacked with multiple members of my team? If the answer is yes, then that is probably not great. Are you on an angle right now? Yes. That's it.
Okay.
You don't need to know the memorization of when ball comes in from multiple different angles. Yeah, that's true. So then there's a lot of different angles here. You could roll out here. You could roll out here. You could roll out here. You could go even deeper. This is probably pretty risky, but you could do this. You could have kept flanking all the way around behind with your Tracer. It's fine. It's fine.
Is there? Okay. Is there anything that's better? Do I want to maybe stay within TP range of my?
Yeah, probably. But to be
Brig
honest with
and
you, I don't
Hanzo.
think you're experienced enough to be able to judge all those variables right now. I think you just need to focus on taking the angle and experimenting with how you behave on that angle.
Okay.
Any of the options that I gave you are good enough. They may not all be perfect, but they're going to all have upsides and downsides that you need to experiment with and explore. But we need to get you into that position first before we start kind of throwing too much your way. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So right now, I like this rollout. This is a good rollout from you. I don't like this. You lost faith.
Be healed.
And then if you lose faith, you lose pressure. You lose pressure, your team loses. And if that ever happens, it's not the end of the world, but you do need to re-find your angle here. This is your angle. You see it?
Yeah.
This is okay. You can help your Brig a little bit if you want to with your ranged healing, right? You don't have to be on top of her. And then you can help your ball out from across here. This is all right. You see the Suzu threat? He's not threatened. And you can't hit that Suzu from that far. So don't Suzu him. And I also want to draw your attention to the ball. Who died? Why? Because, well, you 3 people are peeling your ball. And you're helping him out.
Let me balance.
Brig dice. Happens. This is an angle, right? Look at your ball, look at you. You're off to the side. Just little angles, right? Like, you will feel it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This just needs to be practiced deliberately over and over and over again. Good.
I think I'm confused as to why this health pack is hacked for a second. If you can see me like look at it for a second.
Yeah.
But I forgot it was like the Hanzo perk.
Yeah. It's a long hack too. I think it's like 30 seconds or something like that now.
Draw strength from nature.
Where's your angle here? What do you think? What
My
feels
angle
best
is
to
the
you?
right side. My duo and I, when we were VODing this, we discussed this for a really long time, and I want to throw out a couple ideas once we
right.
get to the relevant points. But what we concluded was that spamming down main here is fine, but then I'm going to move to the right on a very aggressive angle. I'm going to get killed on that angle, but the timing of it. If I were there earlier, like right now, that would help out a lot. I was there late, which was also helping out, but we can keep playing the replay.
Okay. But yeah, why do you like right better than left here? We didn't want to swamp you with variables here, but I'm curious what variable you discovered.
There's just vision to their enemy team. The tracer wants to be there. Okay, yeah, this is what I'm talking about here. And so, okay, this is horrendous. But the timing, I think the timing isn't necessarily bad. My team is healthy.
Oh, this is very simple.
Hanzo.
This is very simple. This angle's great. This timing is fine. You're just a fool. You walked into the open.
It.
You walked into the open and walked into
I walked into the open.
Yeah, you just walked into the open. That's it. It happens. Like if you tip here, use your Suzu and yourself. This is great. Freaking this ball is just completely cooked. He's not going in. He's completely isolated, and there's almost no risk for you at all unless he gets slept. But you shouldn't get slept if you held the corner. You just fumbled it. This is kind of what I'm talking about with you under pressure. This is now the second fumble that you've had on backline in a row. You just need to do this more. You're dealt. You have the tools to live these engagements better than any other support in the entire game. Just don't fumble it. But good job. Good job. Like really. Like I know we're beating on you, but this is good. Good job. Do it better. Good stuff. Because it's still value, right? You still got nade. You still got the supports. They're all like, the support's feeding, and now their ball's dead. Their ball's completely isolated. Like these supports are not taking any space at all, right? And they're just sitting in their own backline.
The tracer like committed 2 blinks on me, and gave up her position. The Ana and the Kiri have to look at me. So
yeah, you got it. What's number one priority for you right now?
Threat is the Genji. I gotta shoot him in the head.
Threat is the Genji. Shoot him in the head, right? Suzy yourself.
Maybe.
That's okay. This is good. You start to lose, you teleport out. I don't hate it. I mean, that's what teleport's for, right? You start to lose a 1v1, you run away, try again next time. Yep, that's what Sombras do. That's what Genjis do. That's what Tracers do. That's what Kirikos do. It's annoying, but it's how it works. Because he was like, if you had killed him, then you wouldn't have needed to teleport. But you didn't kill him, so it's better to live at 1 HP elsewhere than it is to die here. Good job. Now you could just kind of chill. I wouldn't peek this right now. Oh, gosh. I would just hide, get your HP back again, and try to find value while you can. But yeah, that was fine. You want to see something really funny? Watch this. She thought she had you.
That is crazy.
This is again, you create your own luck. It's the same thing with the Wrecking Ball earlier. Remember the Wrecking Ball died at Brig? You take space.
Oh, yeah.
The Ana tries to punish you for quote-unquote overextending and dies.
I wouldn't even say that's luck. That's just every time I take a risk like that,
and don't get punished for it.
There is lucky, and I don't get punished for it.
Correct.
I'm creating opportunities for my
Correct.
team, and
Correct.
if
Correct.
they capitalize
Correct.
on it, then I guess I'm lucky.
Every time that you create space, that's what creating space is. Why you were tanking for your ball there is the way to look at it. You were tanking for your ball. Now, this is where I can tell there's confusion, and I'm going to dispel the confusion. You don't know whether to go with your ball, Hanzo, or Brick, because they're all on different points of the clock. You know what the answer is? I don't care. You choose. Just do so quickly. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You don't have to. You can go with your Brick. She's good and really getting her hands dirty. She could use the help, right? You go with your Hanzo because it's got a nice poke angle and plus +1 DPS. You go with your ball because it's a really deep flank to backline and you're working with your duo. Sure. Doesn't matter. Any angle works here. Just do one. Do one. So when your team's all spread out and you don't know where, just pick an angle. It's fine. It's the same thing with first fight. You're like, oh, I don't know what type of angles I should be looking for. It doesn't matter. Just find one. Just go off to the side here or go off the side there. Experiment. You'll get more comfortable with it. So when you go back here, the problem is that you were almost too late because you weren't sure what to do. You could tell you're like, right? That hesitation is what should have killed your Brig and may lose you this fight. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But you choosing Brig here
okay.
is fine. You could 2 supports on the same angle is not optimal, but it's fine. It's really fine, and sometimes it's good. It's fine. It's working out really well here because there's a lot of everyone's focusing the Brig, so the more resources you give her, the better.
Is there truly not a correct answer? Like, for example, if this were a GM game, same positions, right? Everyone gets punished a lot harder.
And GM, here's the rule, okay? In GM, I would not want my support stacked, but in GM, my Brigitte wouldn't be walking in front before my entire team gets there and tanking, okay? So you choosing the Brig here, you choosing the Brig here because she's the one that's aggressively taking space is actually a pretty good choice, even though it's the wrong hero to do that. Brig should be supplementary to your ball going in first, right? Then she can push the angle here if she'd like to, right? But she's going first, so you helping her is fine.
I'm just curious, purely from like a macro perspective.
I understand. Yeah, I get it.
If you're the Brig here and you're playing into this comp, what's the gameplay flow? Like, what's your goal? What do you use your cooldowns
exactly what
for?
this Brig is doing. Exactly what this Brig is doing, just later.
Are you
just later?
So
taking angles, short range angles on
angles.
point. This is really good here because it's really compressed, so I can actually deal with Ball Genji Tracer. Where if I go here, it's really just open, and I get myself surrounded. This is much more appropriate for a Hanzo, which is exactly where your Hanzo is, right? So play the short range off angles. Try to play with my Tracer if I can, because Tracer will also take angles like these. Why? Because it's short. So what would happen is your Brig Tracer would play here, but Brig would be a lot more patient before she walks forward here. If you look for context, this is where she is, and this is where she goes, right? This is just way too early to go this aggressively, right?
Okay.
You need to play here. You need scouting, hit your whip, proc your inspire for some CDs, back off, grab mega, okay, play my life, and then, okay, if my ball goes in, then I'm going to push in, right? So it's more her mistake of not what she's doing, it's when she's going.
Okay.
So your decision to pocket her is good because she's creating so much space right now. I mean, look at this. It's a ghost town right now. Everybody is focused on this stupid Brig, right? So if you could even keep her alive for a second and then disengage, this is like a very quote unquote earned death. And then now, if you could even Kitsune this if you wanted to. You guys actually have a decent chance of winning this. Case in point, you should have teleported out there because everybody and their mother was on the freaking Brig at the start of the fight. It was still a mistake because it would be better for her to not to die, but that's why you still have a chance of winning this fight is because of what your Brig did.
On my way.
You just needed to do it better.
Okay. So in dive, you know, I take angles, the Brig takes angles.
Yes.
I mean, is it just everyone kind of making their own space, or like do you call out a single dive target and you all like fall onto this one, like focus this one person? Or
no, not usually. Not that only happens if you've won the angles. Let me give you an example, okay? So if we're going to simplify it for you. So let's go back to this situation here. If you guys, let's wait for your Brig to end here. Okay. Brig Tracer on the left side. You got me? Brig Tracer here.
Okay.
My ball is going to call in. I'm doing a roll through 3, 2, 1. When you guys call that, Hanzo's going to peek main. You're going to spam peek from main. Brig Tracer's going to push a little bit from the left side, which means that against a high-level team, they'd probably be fighting like Kiriko Genji here. And the Brig Tracer versus Kiriko Genji happens at that moment right there, that 2v2. At the same time, we got a 2v2 here. At that moment, maybe you're shooting the ball, maybe the ball's diving you, trying to force your CDs, and at that moment, the ball's going in for a cycle. All dive is highly mobile characters that are playing off of their tank's timing. Now, those engagements might be happening in multiple different locations, but they're trying to follow their Winston, Diva, ball, whatever's timing to take advantage of their tank's distraction. Because
So
you
the
can't.
ball rolls through, like he
Yes.
fireballs through.
Yes.
They might like look at him.
They have to look at him at least a
And
little
they
bit,
have
right?
to.
It's a threat,
Right.
right? It's not like, oh, I'm trying to play with your attention. I mean, that's true, but it's because it's actually dangerous. So you do have to kind of look at him, which might create an opportunity for a random Hanzo logger. Maybe the Kiriko gets booped a little bit, so she doesn't pocket the Genji correctly. So the Genji takes too much damage, gets his deflect force. He has to back off. Now the Brig Tracer can walk forward even closer. And this is where the quote-unquote dive happens. When one of those 2v2s is won, maybe not even with a kill, just, oh, I forced Suzu, dash, deflect, whatever. Now your Brig Tracer are here. The next time your ball goes in, that Brig Tracer is going to connect with that Ana. She's cooked. Because it's not going to just be the ball anymore. It's going to be Tracer. And it's going to be maybe a Kiriko shot. And it's going to be a ball slam. You understand what I'm saying? When eventually when you lose those 2v2s and you lose those 1v1s on the angle, like you take a bad cooldown trade or you lose HP and you have to back up, the more that you back up, the more cooldowns that you lose, the more compressed space you are, and the easier it is to dive. 3, 2, 1, jump and kill.
Okay, so you're saying we maybe force a unfavorable cooldown trade for the
Correct.
enemy team.
Correct.
We take that advantage and we just press it by,
Yes.
their Ana could be our main dive target.
Yep.
Just like, I'm thinking about that one PGE game on Eichenwald where he went like 14 deaths or something, but they still won the match because he was the main dive target.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was just funny.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is if all you do is you focus on just diving and killing a target, you can kill anything you want in Overwatch 2, basically almost without exception. Like if you guys the enemy team really wants you dead, they could basically kill you every single fight. But how expensive is it going to be? If they try to cheat the system and cheat the 2v2 and just try and run down the middle and try to kill you every single time, they're going to die repeatedly for that kill. Repeatedly. And they will lose every fight. So in the PGE example, it's probably some stuff that he made mistakes, right? But they probably didn't fight for angles. They probably just threw all of their cooldowns just to try to kill the whatever PG was playing. And then that's just too expensive. It's too expensive, right? You have to take this space. So with you, we're talking about like what dive does. Dive fights for these off angles. And then once you get those off angles or you get that favorable cooldown trade like you talked about, then oftentimes you dive the one target. You get the advantage for the killing blow.
Would you say that these characters might move as a unit, like
very rarely,
like
very
that
rarely,
Tracer, like that Kiri, let's see, Kiri and Tracer on the angle, like
yeah, you can
taking
you
that
can.
2v2? Are they like a unit, or is it kind of just like I'm going to put myself, like
So,
I'm going to help out whoever
it's a
benefits
unit
the team the most?
It's a unit, but let me ask you a question. Why did I put Brigitte with Tracer and Kiriko with Hanzo here? Why not the other way around?
Brig with Tracer and Kiri with Hanzo instead of Kiri with Brig and Tracer with Hanzo.
Mm-hmm.
Brig can support the Tracer and Kiri can support the Hanzo instead of no one being able to support the Hanzo and the Tracer.
Sure. So, but then let's flip that script even further. Why not Kiri Tracer and Brig Hanzo? Why does Kiriko go with Hanzo in this example?
I'm thinking about Tracer as a very highly mobile character. So
let me pause you right
Kiri.
there. So true, sort of, kind of, but it has nothing to do with the character identities. Think about this particular example on Lijiang Tower right here. Why is Brig with Tracer here? Why would Brig want to play here with Tracer? Why would Brig not want to play here with Hanzo? Let's start with that. What's wrong with this position for Brigitte?
Oh, it's outside of her optimal range.
Correct. So when you're talking about who goes with who, it has exclusively, almost exclusively to do with the map location.
Gotcha.
Brig Tracer generally kind of want to play similar space. Now, it's not always the case. Kiriko with Tracer is very common. If you can kind of get a nice poke angle and Tracer can find lots of little flanks to sneak up on. But right now, I don't want to play here with Kiriko. This is really... Genji dashes me, instantly forces my Suzu, right? So I got to be really careful. I'm not saying this angle is bad, but if there's a better angle available, I'm going to try to take it, right? It's why when you were here, you were like, oh, this feels really gross. I'm going to try to get wide open over here, right? Yep. So when you watch High Level Dive and you're like, okay, who goes with who? Depends on the map. What is the map going to be? Like, what angle do you like better as Kiriko? Where can you apply pressure safely without getting your Suzu forced by a Reaper sneezing at you? You get what I'm saying? That's kind of where you're choosing your positions. And that's how High Level Dive works.
However, if I'm playing with the Hanzo, I'm kind of just spamming. I don't feel like it's too terribly easy to hit shots at that range
Correct.
because I'm a projectile.
Correct. So you got to move forward, but it's not to this range. You might start here and then migrate to where?
I want to say just rotate forward and use that
This is-
wall. Yeah, those
Yep.
those walls as my
Seems
cover.
good to me. Seems good to me. Seems good to me. Yep, you got it.
But is that also not the same distance as if I were to play with my brig?
the difference,
Like, I'm still
the
within
difference
dash.
is you're starting with a little bit of distance and a little bit of information, and then you're able to close the distance depending on what you see. This is
Okay.
all or nothing. There's nowhere to go. All right, so you kind of start and you close the distance. We're getting really into the weeds here, but the TLDR is at generally medium to longer. Medium, short's okay, but medium to longer. Brig's a little bit closer. That's it.
Okay.
Yep. Good questions. That's a lot of advanced stuff. I know you said you just kind of like it from the macro perspective, but for your perspective, for what you should be practicing, the most important thing is that take an angle, take space, and whoever's fighting you, case in point right here, this is your number one priority. This Genji right here is your number one priority. And you just get out mechanic. That's all.
Okay.
I mean, you actually even forced his deflect early. You just missed so many shots that by the time
Learn from that.
you hear he got his deflect again, right? And that's okay. But that's okay. Like, you still supported your brig. You still win the fight because you helped support your off angle, and you win. Sure. Sure. This is fine. Probably wouldn't have teleported there, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw him low HP, and I forgot that and I just like for some reason, okay, and I just get murked by the Genji again.
Well, you're just not used to doing these things. Like, again, I want to clarify here. Like, first off, this is a pretty high risk, high reward angle, so I don't think this is bad. You just have to be prepared for the risk that this entails.
I'm completely not prepared. Like, I didn't expect the Genji at all.
You're not
so-
prepared. And when you're not prepared, you're surprised. This is a 2v1. 3v1. Your team is cooking right now. They're like, oh, why is this so relaxing? Where is everybody? Well, they're on you, right? Suzu yourself, right? Suzu yourself, buy time for that teleport back to your team, and then pop Kitsune. The good news is that while they were doing this, look what's happening here. This guy's getting completely rammed, right? This is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like, you're consistently taking sometimes even high-risk angles and behaving very poorly on them mechanically with how you're using your cooldowns and how you're hitting your shots and how you're using cover. But you're still winning the fight because you're just pulling a lot of resources at a very good time. Like, that was a very expensive commitment for the enemy team to do so. Ball gets nothing. Nano Tracer gets nothing.
Granted, my duo is able to capitalize because number one, like we have team chemistry, and number two, because he's like a lot better than I am. But
Sure, that's fine. I mean,
it's fantastic that I can see that the opportunities, like, it's so easy for him to capitalize on those opportunities.
It is right. You're consistently tanking and tanking very poorly because you're like that bronze gold Reinhardt that just pins at the backline and dies. But at least you're creating space for your team, unironically. Right? So, okay, so we're going to do something very dangerous. We're going to move on to another code. I want you to pick one quickly here, and we're going to cross our fingers and hope it wasn't wiped yet.
Let's do maybe just the next one on the list. The Rialto, yeah.
All right, fingers crossed. Dang it.
Oh.
That's okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the next best thing, maybe even a better thing. We're going to live coach. Can you stream through Discord?
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
That's okay. We're going to do some live coaching. Can you stream through Discord?
Yes, I can.
All right. Let's, I'm updating at the moment, but once that's,
There's a new there's
yeah, just update that really fast, and let's jump into a rank game. Let's try and apply some of this without your duo.
Yeah.
The key thing here is that you're allowed to conjecture and enjoy the strategy of Overwatch of what off angle is optimal, right? But you have to make sure that you're setting your stepping stones in line, that I just need to be taking an angle and paying attention to what's on that angle first. And then as I get better, I can start to kind of optimize which angle I'd like. You can always go back and VOD review with your duo like you were doing, and spend a lot of time VOD reviewing and trying to find out what's optimal. I think that's a lot of fun and absolutely worth your time. But in the match, first thing you should prioritize is just what feels like the right angle, and just get yourself on that position as fast as you possibly can.
Okay. Do you know if there's anything in this update? It says there's
I
like
think
a
it's just
live
stadium.
maintenance.
I think it's just stadium
Oh, okay.
stuff. Yeah, I think it's just stadium balance changes. So I don't think there's anything major.
All right, I am at 82%.
Sure, take your time. Any questions or anything we've talked about?
Okay, if I am going into my practice, right, and I'm trying to focus on, one thing, what is kind of like a mantra, like a statement
that.
that could sum up what I'm working on,
You tell me.
like, going on an angle. Like I feel like we've talked about a lot of stuff, and I want to be able to
No, I agree. I agree.
get
But there's
a
been
lot
a
of practice,
but there's been one consistent theme. You need to go on the angle and then what?
behave correctly on the angle.
Behave correctly on the angle, which has been mostly you not paying attention to who's threatening you.
Okay.
Or not taking the 1v1 intelligently with your Suzu or with your cover or with your shots. Once you take the angle, if there's something fighting you, fight it. Either don't lose or win. Those are your choices with Kiriko, right? So
Okay.
and that's it. And to be honest with you, that is a very simple / very complicated topic because how to use your Suzu or how to use cover or, trigger discipline. I don't care. Just fight them. A lot of your mistakes are because you would try to multitask and you just need to fixate on what's on your and stay calm with what you're doing.
Okay.
I'm forcing you to go ice cold. So you got 1 minute in this Vaxta here.
Okay.
I'll find my own.
So you need
I'm
to
like,
seek
ice
pressure.
cold, I'm telling you.
You need to seek pressure with how you're positioning, which you did a good job of. And then once you're on that angle, practice how I'm going to behave on that angle. There you go. So I notice your strafing patterns are very tight. You can slow those down a little bit wider. So just go A, D, A, D. You don't have to tap, 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 tap.
I have been told to like mirror the enemy movements.
You can.
Is that
Absolutely.
like
No,
okay.
it's not wrong. It's not wrong. It just
I know-
might be something
I know
that you
you've
don't need to
mentioned
worry about.
before, Okay, I know you've mentioned before that like movement in Overwatch is like something we could talk about for hours, and so I know
Correct.
that that's like a rabbit hole that is probably
Yeah.
really deep.
It's the same thing when we talk about like priorities with what you do, what angle is optimal. The most important thing with Kiriko is to hit your shots. It's not to rapidly 80-80 strafe. Kiriko's damage is so incredibly high and so incredibly consistent that if you're able to slow your movement down and hit your shots, that's the most important thing. The general rule of thumb is that burst heroes that do bursts of damage, not tracking, generally do better with more consistent movement styles. Let me give you an example. Soldier Tracer, it's good to 80-80 strafe a lot of the time if you're facing versus a Cassidy. Why?
It makes the Cass's shots harder to hit.
Correct. And do you have bursts of accuracy, or are you just consistently applying output of pressure?
You're just consistently
Right.
applying it.
Kiriko, you can almost two-tap a lot of the roster, right? So for you,
Yeah.
the most important thing is to be smooth and to hit your shots, because you can kill anything if you're smooth and you hit your shots. I had a similar problem when I used to play Zenyatta back in the day and get into Tracer duels. I panic strafe, and Tracer would just murder me every time. And I realized that if I hit my shots, she physically cannot win. It is impossible for a Tracer to kill a Zenyatta who's hitting his shots. It's not possible. The only thing that she can do is try to make me miss. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's very similar for you, right? You will basically win 99% of your 1v1s if you don't miss. So it doesn't mean that you should stand still, but it means that you should generally aim for more simple, smooth strafing patterns that allow you to hit your shots. And generally, that's going to be more smooth strafing. Now, the mirror strafing, as you said, is absolutely a strategy that you should be trying to implement at some point. But that's like a further evolution of you being smooth with your strafing. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
The first thing is to hit your shots and to be smooth with your strafing.
So if I slow down I see a disadvantage that if I slow down my strafing on Kiri, I can hit more shots, but it might be easier for the enemy to hit shots.
Correct.
So so basically you're saying it's more important for me to hit my shots?
Correct.
And I can just kind of take that disadvantage of
Correct.
maybe the enemy hitting more shots. As long
Correct.
as I hit my shots, then I
Correct.
can win the 1v1 faster.
Correct. You think about if I'm rapidly 80-80 strafing, I'm increasing my survivability by a marginal amount, but increasing my difficulty of hitting my shots by a significant amount. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, there are exceptions to that rule. What character should you spam strafe when you're 1v1ing? Give me a couple.
Maybe Reaper?
Yeah, could be if he's up in your face, right? Because he could one-shot you. Maybe. There's more obvious examples of characters that have even more burst than you do. Who are they?
More burst?
Characters that they need that shot to kill you, and if they don't, they're not going to kill you.
Oh, like Widow or Hanzo?
Yeah, Widow, Hanzo,
Oh,
Ashe.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. You spam strafe for those characters because you just bop, 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 bop. Eventually they're going to die, right? As long as they don't hit that one shot, you can kill them.
Okay.
But again, that's a side note here, right?
Okay.
I love they seek for information here, but this is a drill. This is not the tournament. You know what I'm saying? This game is meaningless, to be honest with you. All I want is you to take an angle, and then to shoot things on that angle, prioritizing who is on that angle with you. If there's nobody on you, they just do whatever you want. But if there's somebody there, you have to fight them.
Okay. It feels tight on this first point, but my idea is to wrap left here. I like thinking ahead.
Yep, I think it's smart. So let's go ahead. Is there anybody here?
Yeah. I hear the Ahri. I'm going to start going for her.
Okay.
My team's looking healthy. Okay, I'm pretty deep now. Killed Genji. I can kill Ahri here, maybe.
Susie yourself if you need to.
Okay.
And
textbook.
you
Honestly,
broke
textbook.
Very textbook. Now, the only bad thing, which we're not going to worry about, but it's worth highlighting, your cover usage was terrible.
Right, I was out in the open.
You could have significantly cut down on your risk on both the Genji and the EDR if you just simply held the corner and done the exact same thing that you did. But what you did and the attention that you had to detail was perfect in terms of, I must deal with this Genji. Correct. Let's do that again.
Okay.
Who is here? Because they're going to start trying to punish you, which means more space for your team.
Kaz is here. You can nade. I just want to be mindful of that. Or I just kill him. That's also fine.
Yep.
So two things to work on, basically. What I do on the angle, right? Dealing with threats and my cover usage while I'm on the angle. I see.
And as you say that, you leave cover. But that's okay.
Yeah,
just stay in here and shoot. That's
But
okay.
I got
That's okay.
distracted trying to. Yeah.
Well, because you're talking. This is how people make mistakes. They're thinking about a lot of things, and you're fine. I'm also in your ear right now. You're doing a great job.
Wait, can
Now,
Ahri two-shot me?
Yes.
Two-shot
Headshots. Yes,
All
two-shot
right,
headshot.
I got down to 120, so.
I think. I might be wrong with that.
Enemy turret ahead. I'm on fire.
This is your priority,
Okay,
right
Genji's the threat to me. I get deflect out. Probably should have stolen that health back from him.
It's okay.
Yeah, there we go.
There it is. Now, that's the crucial thing. You will not always win 1v1s as easily as you are right now, but you will force the resources, teleport out. Yeah, they've given up. They think you're smurfing. What they will do is they will put attention on you. You will lose the 1v1 or start to lose it. You will Suzu yourself, and then you will have to teleport out to live. It sucks because you're on main now, right? But you still got a burst of value, correct? And you're still doing something behind your team. And the important thing is that doesn't mean that you have to stay behind your tank. You can retake the angle. You get teleported out, fine. Go find another angle after you teleport out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, for example, if this ram pushes you and you have to teleport out back to your team, well, then go left side next time.
Go left side next time. Is that to keep it unpredictable for the enemy team?
It's because the left angle would be easier to get if you had to teleport out. It'd be hard to get back to where you are right now if you didn't have the time.
I'd have to cross. Like,
yes,
I'd have to cross behind theirs.
exactly. But this would be an okay safe angle if you didn't have time.
Okay. I look like I'm smurfing. Goddamn.
Yeah, you are. I mean, you are. I mean, this is what happens now. Not every situation is going to feel like this, to be honest with you.
It's luck of the draw. I just
little luck of the draw.
Little
Luck of the draw, and you're playing well as well, and you're not always going to play this well. But My point being here, if you go on that left angle and you don't kill Genji and you don't kill Iliari, but they all look at you
Forced me
and you
out.
Suzu and you teleport out, your team still gets out of the choke. Your team still gets out of the choke.
A little bit of micro question. When we were in that big open room where like the subway station was, and Ari had her pylon up on
On the
wall,
high ground. Yeah. Deep,
On the high
deep,
ground.
early on third, right? Really early on third, right?
Right. Yeah. Like as soon as we got to that,
Yes.
like
Yes. When you're on that
the
deep
second
flank
point.
and the Genji pushed you, yeah.
right. What's the move? What do I shoot there?
Pylon
Hopefully They all
first.
leave.
Pylon first, I
Pylon
think.
first?
Yeah,
Okay.
pylon first.
That's what I was thinking because
Yeah. Unless they literally ignored you and there's like a widow right next to you, you could just two tap quickly. Pylon's really good. Yeah, pylon's good.
okay.
Watch your flanks. They might try something.
Okay, I hope this guy doesn't just hold us hostage. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Um,
No, you did the right thing. The only executional error there again was because you pressed out of the door W key out of the door frame and opened yourself up to pressure. That was the only
Okay.
thing that you messed up. So like it went from being a situation where even if you get shot, you're fine, to where if you got shot, you might have died. So watch what you did from here. Go back a little bit.
from here. Oh, wait, here.
Even further to that pylon. So watch how you behave. This is fine?
Okay.
Yeah. Just watch it.
So this is my cover right here.
Correct.
This
correct.
is my cover.
Correct.
Okay.
Perfect range too, as well, right? Perfect range.
Enemy to the left.
But then
Oh,
here you
I see,
swing
I
out,
see.
and if that EDR hits you
Right.
again,
I swing-
right, you're in serious trouble, right? So this is the problem. Now it's actually better in this exact freeze frame, but half a second later you were completely out of the door frame for no reason.
Oh, I saw how I strafed like all the way out here. Yeah.
And this is like the details of what you're doing. Now, for what we were practicing, we were less concerned about the cover and more about like looking at what's looking at me. So if you actually go just zoom up again, as soon as you get pressured by Genji, you do immediately turn your attention to Genji and don't worry about your team. And that was correct. So play this out. This is a pretty good engagement from you, all things considered. Because then you go, uh-oh, Cassie's on me. You immediately look at the Cassie. Okay, Cassie's not looking at me, so I just shoot. Oh, Genji's on me. Look at Genji. You see that? This is what you were missing on Lee Jeng Tower. And even though you don't play it perfectly mechanically, it's all right. It's all right.
I did want to look at an Ana game at some point.
You can play an on game if you want. Yeah, we can play an on
Okay,
game.
I'll play an Ana game.
Yeah. What did you want to look at? What have you been struggling with Ana? Anything come to mind?
Yeah, I think the playstyle is Nepal like an Ana map? It could be. I mean, yeah.
It's the same playstyle as Kiriko, just your angles are a lot more shallow in terms of how deep you can go because you don't have that teleport. That's it. It's the same thing.
So when I'm limit testing on Kiri, what I'm thinking about is basically I asked my duo like you mentioned limit testing the last time, and I was like I couldn't quite figure out what he meant by that. And so let me throw this idea out. I'm limit testing how much value I can get. My duo and I were talking about how much can I how much can I basically abuse the enemy team not looking at me. Like, for example, there was this one game on New Queen Street where I took hyper aggressive angles and I didn't get punished for it. And
why do you think that's the case? Think about the map. Ignore the
the
enemy
map, there's just so
conferencing.
many angles.
There's so much space, right? So much distance.
A lot of space.
Right. There's a lot of
And so
distance, right?
basically, I could limit test the enemy team by abusing the fact that they forgot about me, right? Object permanence, or
Right.
abusing the fact that
Or lack of
they
object
didn't
permanence,
look,
but yeah.
or lack of object permanence.
Right.
But there were also situations where I might need to respect their enemy DPS because they were good, and I would get punished. So would you
It's
say
the exact
that
same thing with Kiriko, right? When the problem with your
Okay.
Kiriko is that you would take an angle and they get surprised when they looked at you. We want
So you're
them to
saying
look
if I
at you.
respected the DPS, like respecting the DPS, for example, respecting that Genji enough where I
Yes.
turned my attention to him,
Correct.
won me that engagement in the Midtown game.
So whatever angle that you take here, if you do take an angle, whatever's fighting you on that position deserves your attention. Attention is respect. When you look at them, you're like, I need to make sure I deal with you because you are a threat to me. That is respect. Like right now, I hear something on your right. That deserves your attention. Now there's nothing on your right, so now what do you do?
Oh,
so
my God.
that's you thinking about a lot of things and getting distracted. But the lack of respect there isn't intentional. It's just that, oh, I let Reinhardt get on top of me before I could do anything to him. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So where should your sightline be? With Ana, it's a lot less flanky, but you have a much better range, right?
I was thinking, like, we talked about our vision being good. Like, I want to look for a good vision.
Yeah, that seems good. Good nade. Good. So you could do stuff like this. And even that right there, like that was fine. That was fine. You just didn't quite win the 1v1. Stick with it. Stick with it. Stick with it.
I want to call
That
blue
Lucio,
one.
that Lucio needs to die.
I still have some fighting.
Honestly, leave voice as soon as you can. I want you to stay fixated on what we're practicing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Where's your angle? Where's your sightline? See, this sightline's very compressed.
Yeah.
You see this? That's
Very
more of a
compressed.
Kiriko flank, right?
There's a lot happening right now.
It is, and you're doing fine. But a lot of that started because you initially compressed your angle first, right? So remember, it's
Okay.
like you're looking for a more of an open sightline generally with Ana. So like find that open sightline. It's going to be hard when you're breaking this choke. You might have to take some risks. But as soon as you can, open that sightline.
So for Ana, I might look for open, whereas Kiri, I might look for compressed.
It's more
Like, that's more
compressed,
favorable?
yeah. So right
Okay.
now you're being compressed. So where should you go? You can nano that if you want.
Oh, nano the Soj.
That's all right. Yeah, that's a good shot. So you're being compressed by this Reinhardt. So this is probably where you'd want to take a flank because there's nothing. You don't have a sight line right now. So you might as well look for a more risky angle. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
There is no
Do I
sight line
trust
for you.
Okay, I was gonna trust my Doom to do that, but he kind of wasn't. So this is that quick AD strafing that prevents the one shot from Soj.
Correct.
And we
Your
don't touch
problem here was you did not create any space for your team at all. You either sat on main and waited for your team to take an angle for you, which they may or may not did, or when you did get space, you went to the most compressed side lane you could possibly get on the right side. That was a mistake. You needed to take a left flank. You needed to take a right angle, and then use what Kiriko. While Ana doesn't have a teleport, she has 2 cooldowns that can help you if you get pushed on those angles. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you don't have an open sight line, you must find one wherever that may be. If you're staring at a Rhine shield, you need to find something. So just think about it right now.
I'm thinking just about the sight line, the side lanes on this map. Those are both pretty open.
Correct. So this
I
one
can
will be a lot
initially
easier.
Okay, I can initially path upward. I
Yep.
might as well.
Yeah,
I
sure.
can try it
Yeah,
out.
absolutely. Try it out. Yeah. See, that one was a hard one. That one demands more risk. This one is going to be a little easier to just kind of roll out with space. Case in point, right? Once you get here, you've got a lot of vision to do stuff. I want you to prioritize that nade next time once you see a sight line.
Okay.
But that was fine. That was fine. If you hit that nade a little sooner, that Sojourn dies, you create an opportunity for maybe you win the fight. That's what I mean by limit testing. I mean, what angle makes sense right now? And you're experimenting and discovering and experimenting. Like right now, how do you break this choke?
Probably just go all the way right side like this.
Sure.
Actually, left side, left side.
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting compressed.
Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. You recognized it. You maybe should have held top and then dropped when you saw an opportunity. That's okay. Got some trades here. So you said left, so I'm going to see left right now.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you have to push. You do need to wait for your team, but you're setting yourself up for when your team is here, you're going to be ready to go. Heck, you could even start now if you want to. Your team is walking forward. Let's go.
Okay. I'm gonna swing even more left.
I agree.
Respect the Sojourn.
Yeah, that's fine. Respecting the Sojourn there would have been using your cooldowns of the Sojourn. Even if you don't hit him, that's okay. But you need to try. You understand?
Yeah, this is what I mean when my Ana needs work. Like, I definitely
That's
know
okay.
it needs a little bit of work, which is why I wanted to practice
That's all right.
it.
That's all right. That's why we're here. Where should you be? If you're compressed, where's your open sight line?
Left side.
Yep. Maybe even up the stairs here. Try that. Go up the stairs. Try it. Merry Christmas. There you go.
All right, I want to look for... Okay.
That's okay. You know what you did? You looked at him.
Yeah.
You didn't do that before. You looked at him.
I didn't do that before. Now I'm doing it, and
Now
then
you're
in
looking
the
at
future,
it.
I'll do it faster.
And the crucial thing is that you didn't know he was there, which is why you lost to him. If you'd had nade there,
Okay.
I actually think you might have been able to get him. But you didn't know he was there, so you threw your nade at the Rhine without really looking at what was happening here. So this was like
Gotcha.
really, really good from you. It's obviously just a disastrous result, disappointing result. You're not going to remember this in a week. You're not going to remember like who gives a frick, right? The game's over, who cares? The crucial thing is that you're experimenting with where's my sightline, where's my angle, finding space, creating space, finding space, creating space. The reason that your Doomfist was struggling so much in the first round is that you were not creating space. So everybody's focusing on him while the Ryan's just holding shield and absorbing 4 people's attention and just under no threat at all. The way to peel any tank apart is to make them look in different directions, and everybody's focusing Doomfist and everybody's focusing Ryan, but Ryan has a choke in his shield, Doomfist doesn't. So you need to take space. You need to take a sightline. You need to open up your initial rollout. Really good. If we go back really fast mentally, do you remember when you said you wanted to go left?
Yes.
Pull that up. And I want you to look at the way that you went left and tell me what was wrong.
I remember going left and it being very out in the open, and I didn't feel good about that.
So I want you to look at how you went left and fix it for me. So right after here, this is it right here. Okay, so fix it for me. So watch what happens and then tell me what you should have done differently from this moment.
Okay, I cross this way.
Correct.
And, I mean...
That's a mistake.
They can just... Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You're getting pincered. You're not opening your sight line. You're standing.
Right.
You're walking in the middle of the open. So what should have been done differently?
So,
And
alternatively, let me explore this. Okay.
Now, let me park your camera right here. Park your camera on the corner, just a little bit further to your right.
Okay.
Just a little bit further to the right. And then just watch the fight from this position and just picture sleep dart, nade, etc., etc. Pocketing Genji.
Ryan comes out here.
Shoot,
Boom,
shoot,
nade,
shoot,
nade here,
shoot,
shoot.
right. Shoot, shield, pocket your Genji. Keep playing. More damage.
Do I save my nade for the enemy Genji? Or do I
could.
save my sleep for the
I
enemy
would definitely
Genji?
save my sleep for the enemy Rhine, actually, more than anything else, because that's my insurance from him pushing me. But to be honest with you, you could any amount of pressure here would have been fine. Because if you sleep in nade and then have to run away, you're forcing them to chase you. You run away, you're creating space for your team. Remember what you did on Kiriko and Lijiang Tower? You behaved poorly on the angle, but at least you created space.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? It's the same thing with Ana.
Okay.
Same thing with Ana.
It's still an angle. It's just conservative, right? If I were Kiri, let me think. I mean, I might be playing here.
Could be.
I might be playing...
You basically
Here.
got nothing for your risk when you went down main to left. When you open wide left, you got a much juicier sightline with no risk at all, at least at the start.
Okay. I see.
So this is kind of exactly like, this is what we're looking for. Ana and Kiriko function very basically the same in terms of their goals, but the positions or angles that they might take might change a little bit. Just a little bit.
Who has more kill threat?
It doesn't matter. Well, how do you define kill threat? Who's better in a 1v1? Probably Kiriko. But who's able to apply more AoE control and crowd control? Definitely Ana, right? Like an AoE nade. I mean,
okay.
Kiriko can't do an AoE nade thing. That's way more lethal than anything she can put out to a global team. Sleep dart on a Rhine means that that's a real dangerous to any tank, right? It doesn't mean you're directly killing the Rhine, but you're setting your team up for success more. Who's able to apply pressure more at range? Probably Ana. Probably Ana, yeah. Who's able to apply pressure more up close to medium? Probably Kiriko. It's not about kill threat or just killing or winning 1v1s. It's more of like a threat as a whole. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. That's it. Everything's just pressure in Overwatch. Just pressure. Take a sightline, do damage, do healing, pop some shots, pop some cooldowns. You're good to go.
Gotcha.
But what you did this game is exactly how you would learn with Ana. You need to do more of this kind of stuff. More of this kind of stuff.
Okay,
This
so
is
just
how you're
more
gonna learn.
experimentation.
More
Okay.
experimentation and more evaluation of which angles that you're taking. The only fights that you threw were fights where you didn't take space. The fights where you took an angle and are unable to behave successfully were good fights. The worst fights for you were the fight when you went down main this one and where you stayed on main on the previous run and didn't do anything. Your Doom was actually getting
Gotcha.
picks by himself and you guys were sitting in main. I felt bad for him. Sanctum's
Gotcha.
difficult. It's not an easy map. This one's much easier, but yeah. I mean, we can look at it
So-
here.
Okay, this is
It's greedy, but if you're stuck in a choke, right? You have the alternative
Yeah.
left side as well. And as I said here, this wasn't just about like those moments. It was also when you did get out of space, you would often lean towards right side instead of leaning towards left side, where your angle sightline here is so much better, right? Instead of going towards right. You see the difference?
like I'd have to. I mean,
it's
have to
not
come out
always bad.
here
I
to
mean,
really see anything.
yeah, maybe they're on Widow or something, and you're gonna sneak up and I mean, there's always nuance, right? But you need to experiment more.
Okay.
I prefer you to take the wrong angle than you to not take an angle at all, to be honest. So if you're experimenting and you're like,
Okay.
oh, I don't know if that was good, that's fine. We're trying. We're learning.
Okay.
All right. Any questions, mate?
So with Ana, okay, so with Kiri, I'm focusing on like my practice points might be something like how do I behave on the angle, looking at my threats, and
Cover.
yeah, cover.
Cover.
And for Ana, I think it's a little bit of catch up with how do I get onto the right angle, basically. Just
Correct. Just finding
angles.
finding the angle, and opening up more of a sight line on those angles. But yeah, I just think more experimentation. This is what I mean by limit testing. I don't necessarily mean I need you to do everything that you possibly can to push on. I just need you thinking about what is the optimal play right now and then practicing. Not just studying it in VOD review, but practicing it live.
Gotcha. Okay.
What's the optimal angle? You're going to find it out. You're going to find out. You're going to experiment.
I see.